Greetings, Brawniacs, and welcome to The Devil's Den, a podcast that focuses specifically on Leo Brawn, former homicide detective killed in a line of duty turned demon hunter. I'm your host, Stitch Mainville, and with me as a co-host, the writer, producer, and creator of Leo Brawn, Jason Beard. Now, Jason and I will be breaking down each episode of Leo Brawn as we're joined by cast members who will give us their perspective as well. But first, spoiler alert, we will be discussing both episodes of Surface Tension. So if you haven't yet listened, stop here, go back, and listen to episodes 13 and 14, and then come on back so we can continue. Okay, so now that you're all caught up, you may have some questions like, are the HCCs making a comeback? And what does Philip Weston have to do with Father Marwood? And our most important question of all for these episodes, is this really the end? All this and more on this episode of The Devil's Den. Hello, our conversation is just beginning, and right now we say hello to our co-host, Jason Beard. Welcome, my friend.
Hello, Stitch. How are you?
I thought I was doing good, but I'm in a world of hurt right now. This is the last one, man.
This is it. We've made it. And what a crew that we have assembled today to discuss the last two episodes.
Everything we've been reviewing all comes down to these last two episodes for season one. And you're right. It started out, it was just you and me, and I think one other person when we started with episode one. And now we have almost 20 people involved.
Over 20. Yeah, over 20 people involved. Yeah.
That is amazing. And speaking of some of those 20 people, we always use this portion of the show to welcome some cast members. And on this episode, joining us, we have returning guests, Eric Carlino, Grace Newton, and Andy Parkin. Folks, it's great to have you join us this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, like hanging out with you guys.
Andy, I'm so glad to have you back to the Devil's Den. As much as we enjoy the narrator setting the scenes and helping us, the listeners, see everything that Jason's writing, we've also come to enjoy that new character, Ronan. And earlier you were telling us, where did you get this idea of a Scottish neurotic genius?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have been asked that a few times. So I grew up in the very northeast of England. It's as far away from London as you can get before you hit Scotland, right on the border. So a lot of my friends migrated up and down through the border. So my older accent that I've dampened down a lot was a mixed muddle of Scottish, Geordie, Northern England. And it's really a culmination of a bunch of neurotic teenage boys that I used to sneak off and drink whiskey down by the river, both up and down of the border. And all of those things that you're hearing Ronan say, Jason thinks I'm ad-libbing. I'm not. I'm repeating what I heard my friends say when we were down by the river drinking.
Well, I love the guy. He makes me laugh every time he makes an appearance. Grace, welcome back. We get a deeper look at Lilith these two episodes, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm.
So, Grace, is there anything in particular about Lilith that you enjoy?
Yes. As evil as she is written, there's a certain level of nobility to her in that she thinks she's doing the right thing. In her mind, hell is two things. A deterrent to people on Earth, like act right or you're coming here. And if that doesn't work and you get here, it should be a punishment. So she's trying to make sure that stays, that way. And she's probably very angered that that is being fucked with. You know what I mean? Like, she's just like, not on my watch,
Yeah.
She's like, hell
There's a
no.
certain reality to the character. You get that, just the old historical authority that she's dealing with. And tradition is what she seems to be frustrated with, that it's been torn away from what the design was supposed to be. And you were right, she does have that intelligence, that old intelligence about her, which I really enjoy listening to.
Eric, this is going to be pretty exciting for you. We get a healthy dose of Herman, and we also get to learn more about what the hell happened to Sebastien in this episode.
Yeah, I am definitely all over these 2 episodes in regard to the various characters in this one, and we get a big reveal. I don't want to get too ahead because I'm sure we're going to get to it when we go over the episode. I want to be a big reveal regarding Herman that it's not all what he seemed when we first got to know him. There's a little bit more going on there.
Well, before we review our episode, I want to get to the answer of last episode's trivia question. So in the last episode, the trivia question was, what is the birth name of the pig? That was the one we asked last week.
Right.
I think so, yeah.
And I gave I gave multiple choice. It was Tom Hollinger, Rob Berenger, or John Tulliver. Andy.
I'm going to go with C.
Yeah.
You say it enough times.
Probably a part of that one.
And that question brings us to a Facebook message we get from an Eddie M. in Albany, New York. And Eddie writes, tag me as an official Brawniac. I'm hooked. I've listened to every episode. I love the origin stories. Herman was incredible. The Arnie special ripped at my heart. I'm hoping you guys do something like that for the pig. I'm dying to hear his origin story.
That's a great idea. Eddie, thank you for listening, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
thanks, Eddie.
Eddie.
That's really cool to hear.
We love it. So great.
What a fantastic suggestion. He just gave you some homework,
Oh my
Jason.
God, that is a great idea. Get on
You'll be happy. You'll be happy to hear that is in the plan for season 2. Not in our core episodes, but as one of our standalone Leo Brawn stories, you will hear the backstory of the pig, aka John Tulliver, this season. So I love that you said that because it's it's not written yet, but the outline is there, so it will be this season. You will hear that. Awesome. Can't wait.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you guys, when you guys were recording your lines for the last final episode of season 1, what was going through your heads? Because I'll tell you, I was kind of a little bummed out. I was looking forward to coming home, finding my script, sitting in a booth, recording my lines, then getting to hear it, when it finally dropped. How about you, Eric, when you got yours?
Oh my gosh. I was like, I can't say goodbye to Herman yet. I'm not ready. No, I need him. And he needs me. Let's face it, he does.
Grace?
I was like, she has so many lines this episode. Instantly intimidated, and she gives a speech. I mean, I'm like Leo Brawn because, the public speaking thing. But, I'm in my booth, and I become her, and she's way more confident than I am. So, I was thinking, kick ass, time to shine, it's who she is. Yeah, it was daunting, but so fun.
Same question, Andy.
The reverse of Grace, actually. When we started off, Jason and I would talk about how heavily narrated a lot of the primary episodes were, and we discussed that maybe we should kind of go away from that. I wasn't trying to talk myself out of a job, and Jason already said I'm in season 2, so I'm coming back. But I really loved seeing the introduction to the episode where we come back with Leo's narration, self-monologue going on, and it kind of comes full circle to the teaser trailer before the first episode came out. And that teaser trailer where it was just you, Stitch, with those gravelly overtones, that was what I heard when I first started talking to Jason, and that was what brought me in. I've got to be a part of this. So for me, it was kind of this warm, squishy feeling of, oh, it's a full circle, and that's what hooked me in. And then where's my line? But I'm still in there. I'm still helping things along, but it's been a natural evolution of storytelling as we go along, and I love the confidence that we're getting in the characters to show us the story as the actors have kind of sunk into the characters. You especially, Eric, you're creepy.
I take pride in that.
I really feel that I'm rightfully taking more of a back seat, and I'm just kind of nudging things along now, and the characters are just taken it to another level, which I think is fantastic. Just don't cut me out completely, Jason.
We'll always have Ronan, either way. Like, narrators, as
that's very nice of you.
Besides, who else is going to tell us about Leo's suitcase vibrating?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, my Dallas voiceover conference, I was asked to say that several times. It was getting uncomfortable.
Wow.
Well, hey, let's get to this episode review. As we were saying, we start out episode 13 in the same way we opened up with episode 1. Leo giving a monologue about his death, and this time it's upgraded just a little different.
When you think about your death, you hope it's planned, that it's expected, that'll be painless and you'll go with some dignity. You hold out for the hope that you've said everything you needed to say to those you loved, and exhausted every opportunity to share how much they all mean to you. When I did die, when I was murdered at the hands of some mystery man in an ugly orange tie, not only did I not arrive at the pearly gates after a life spent devoted to serving others and the law and justice, I wound up in some upgraded version of the netherworld, Hell 2.0, wrestling with the reality that my death wasn't final, that I've been given some sort of twisted second chance. I've been designated by Satan himself, sworn to hunt and track demons who illegally possess human subjects. This is Sheriff Leo Brawn, captain of the Obsidian Recovery Agency and protector of the capital city of Dante.
And that sets the story up right there. Not to take your job away from you, Andy.
We'll talk later.
But that brings us to another Facebook message. It comes from Waynesboro, Tennessee. And Connor writes, is there ever going to be an explanation about why Leo was sent to hell? He's a family man and a highly decorated cop. Why was he condemned in this afterlife? Did he cheat on his taxes or something?
Hi, Connor. Thanks for the question. Yes, that is one of the key questions of the entire series. So you will get that answer. May or may not be in season 2, but it will come. We will find out why Leo wound up in hell.
Good, because I think we all want to know.
Yeah, right?
Well, when the episode picks back up, we find Satan, and he's arriving at the Spiral Castle of Antenora, and he's greeted by the man in the orange tie, and we soon learn that this is a meeting with Lilith.
The Spiral Castle of Antenora? Yes, former region for those that committed treason. You think that meeting here is a coincidence? No, sir. I do not.
We were anticipating your arrival. Her Grace appreciates punctuality.
Her Grace? That's rich. Let me give you some advice, Trout Pout. Invest in an iron. And then, there is that tie. You know they make more than one,
If you and the pig were...
John. The name is John.
Very good. If you'll both follow me.
John's really sensitive about the pig now, huh?
That's right.
And rightly so. I mean, you get the feeling that John's had a rough end of the deal. When we've heard that he's trying to keep his family safe, but he's dealt with this physical deformation that we still haven't fully understood why or what was done to him. But you get the idea from his twisted voice that it's like every breath is painful for him. So I'd be pretty grumpy too. Yeah.
That's why he kind of went. Well, we'll hear it. I'm about to spoil as I always. But yeah, I mean, this is his chance. You know, he's been given this mandate, like, do one more thing for me. You go back to the way things, back to normal. And so he's literally hell bent on trying to make that happen.
And listening to this, I get the feeling that the man in the orange tie is antagonizing Satan. Not just John, because I mean, yeah, he knows John's name and he's just going to call him the pig to antagonize him. But he seems to have something against Satan also.
Yeah. The idea of the man in the ugly orange tie, I mean, he's such an enigma, and an anomaly to everything else, where we can sort of put everything else into some sort of corner or category, and it sort of makes sense. But the man in the ugly orange tie doesn't really make sense. We don't really understand who or what he is, or what he's really trying to accomplish. So, and it will sort of remain that nebulous for a while, until again, one of the key revelations will be, who the hell is this guy, and what is he really doing?
Well, Satan finally gets inside, and he's brought face to face with Lilith.
Hi, Lilith. For someone that has been in self-imposed exile as long as you have, you don't look a day over 4,227.
A flaccid attempt at wounding me. I'm disappointed. All this time, and you've become so boring.
Let's talk boring, Abzul.
It's Lilith.
Of course it is. The 11th circle. Gosh, how did you come up with that one? Talk about a snooze fest.
Well, you've always had an active imagination, Lucifer.
It's Satan.
Of course it is.
If that's all you've got, then you'll have to excuse me. I have a campaign to prepare for.
Now, what made you think I asked you here to speak with me?
So Satan and Lilith, I mean, he starts out sarcastic himself, but as he's talking to Lilith, he's pretty soon coming up here. He's going to be rendered speechless by what she's about to show him.
I love that.
You can dismiss its name, but the 11th Circle stands before you. Very real. A movement that is alive. A confluence of hellborn and sinners alike. Now, watch this. Henceforth, there will be no more human possessions, whether invited or not. Cease any further possession activity. Release those currently under your spell. We will adhere to the stipulations of the mandate for now. One cannot attack an enemy they cannot hear, that they cannot see. Fear not the beast's bellow. It's the hush before the strike where danger lies.
Man, love that, Grace. That's all. Got to ask you, how many times did it take you to go through that?
Oh, wow. Quite a few, actually. Quite a few. Yeah, it was pretty challenging. The speech was, yeah. I did all of the other lines, and then I was like, okay, let's just nail it. Let's just knock this out. But yeah, I think Satan to her is just such an eye roll at this point. Like, she's just like, whatever. He's like a gnat that won't go away because you're wearing perfume that smells too good or something. I don't think she regards him as a formidable opponent right now, but I think she really enjoyed scaring the hell out of him.
Oh, she definitely comes across as the HBIC in this scene.
Yeah, I love the fact that we're acknowledging that Lilith is such a strong, powerful, and old adversary. So obviously, we know that Satan is trying to play down, like, oh, I'm not scared of you. We've done this before, blah, blah, blah. And the way she just kind of counters, oh, what makes you think you were here to see me?
Mm-hmm.
You just took the wind out of his sails. He's like, what?
The power in
there's
that moment.
something else I have to worry about? And then the gladiatorial forum is the way I visualize it, just
Absolutely.
all laid out there. And I wanted to ask, Grace, when you were recording that scene, were you visualizing yourself up at like the top of the gladiator stage, looking down on all of that carnage?
I was visualizing Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. Evita?
Evita. I was too.
picturing, like,
My mind went there also,
Madonna,
yeah.
but like in dark mode. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay.
Like, that's what I was picturing, like just her subjects, lo and behold, you know. And I loved the moment that Jason wrote in where she as an aside to Satan, she's like, "No, watch this." Like, that's not all. They're literally bowing to my whim and at my command. So it was cool.
Yeah, she raises a hand. She gets the whole crowd to quiet down, and then tells them, "Don't take part in in possessing anybody anymore, whether it's asked for or not." And Satan doesn't take too kindly to that.
John,
It was
we're leaving.
I'll escort you. I hope what you've witnessed today.
Hey, do me a solid. Don't tell Margot I did that.
Yeah, because that's not very nice guy like, is it?
Not at all. Cunningham did such a good job there with the. So funny.
Well, hey, when we catch up with Leo, he's the new captain of the ORA. And after reading over a letter from former Captain Mangat, he introduces Max to the rest of the group. And as they're setting up a plan to catch the serial killer, Herman, Ronan interrupts with some astonishing news.
Oh, Sheriff!
Yeah, what is it, Ronan?
You need to come see this. Oh, Sheriff, I can't explain it, but Dispatch, they monitor the signals of the demonic possessions at their earliest possible point, way before they reach a discernible possession level. That allows us to prioritize the cases that will be assigned to the field. And
Ronan, skip to the end.
Wait, look, Sheriff. About 15 minutes ago, all the signals just disappeared. It's as if all demonic possessions just stopped.
So that doesn't just say a lot about for the ORA, but it says a lot about Lilith, who could just stand there and say, "This won't happen anymore," and boom, it all just stops just like that.
And it's completely unprecedented. Like, their way of life, they don't know anything else. And This is what they do every day, like filling up their car with gas, or, you know, it's just what they do. They possess people. Like, what do you mean?
Well, for me, this scene sort of sets a tone of change for the ORA. No longer Captain Mangat, now we have Leo. No more Captain Mangat writing on a chalkboard. We have Ronan setting up an overhead screen that's connected to a computer. Imagine Leo using PowerPoint.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, this isn't maybe on the point of his technical prowess, but what I like about this scene that I think that we're about to hear, I think for the clip you're setting up, is this is really kind of setting the stage for what a lot of, no spoilers, but just in a general sense, what season 2 will really be about. A change in tone will be more about the murder investigation, the investigation of Herman, especially with the absence of demonic possession. Season 2 really becomes getting the killer. And this is that first hint at how this group will assemble and operate for what will come in.
All right. Well, outside, everything, Jillian, she's not only struggling with the loss of Sebastien, she's also struggling with how to deal with the fact that she's in hell. She's left her assignment as a mechanic because it doesn't hold a purpose for her. And thanks to a conversation with Felix, Jillian has a revelation and comes to realize that she has another purpose.
I don't believe in this place. It's like we're all pretending, as if we're being given some sort of second chance, when the very reason for this place, hell's existence, is damnation. And if what we are witnessing is truly some attempt to alter that, then my gut is telling me it's being done in secret, and I feel like a higher power may have something to say about it.
And yet, you're here. And guess what? You're not alone.
I guess that's it. When it comes down to it, I feel alone.
You don't seem like the type to give in. or give up. Everything you're facing right now, all these doubts and questions, it really comes down to one question. Really, what are you gonna do about it? You can't change where you are, but you can change where you're going. If you're here, there is a reason. And if there is a reason, there is a purpose. Go find your purpose.
Thanks for talking to me, Felix. Going to find my purpose. And I think I know where to start.
Now, anyone who's listened to enough episodes knows I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I sometimes relate a lot. But in The Next Generation, there was a character who was a groundskeeper at Starfleet Academy. And he was just this wise old person that helped Picard, helped Janeway. He was just there for everybody to give this great advice. And that's how I see Felix. He might just be a bartender, but man, the advice that he gives to folks gives them the change that they need.
That was one of the best pep talks I've ever heard. That's something that you can apply to your own life when you're feeling down. Just play that one by Felix, which performed by Robert Lloyd, who is an amazing human being. If you ever have the chance to meet him or work with him, I love that. He doesn't sound like that usually. He's usually a lively chap.
Yeah.
But that gravelly barkeep guy, just that's who I want. That's who I want to give me the pep talk. You know, what are you gonna do about it? That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I want Felix to be my therapist.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, and he gets. I love that character because there is sort of this trope that the wise bartender, you go there for advice, and so he is fulfilling that, but he also is. He's just one of these guys that has a heart, and he is sort of grown very fond of this whole ORA group. And I'm just so impressed with the way Robert has, talking about growth as the series is going along. Because Robert, I believe this was like his very first time ever doing any kind of voiceover work. So he's definitely grown, I think, as an actor as this series has progressed.
Well, as Leo and the group are trying to figure out how to catch the Dante Devil, they have no idea that Herman has paid a visit to Captain Mangett.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chip Steed with the Dante Daily.
Before the news report can continue, the power goes out in Captain Mangett's condo. Following the outage, she hears faint footsteps upstairs. She grabs a pair of crutches leaning against a lamp table near the recliner and pulls herself up. She makes her way to the foot of the stairs just as the commotion above falls silent.
Hello? Who's there?
She pulls a 12-gauge from the pantry and limps slowly back to the stairway. A figure rises behind the captain.
Gotta check those corners, Captain. I'm who they're calling the Dante Devil.
Herman seems to get a kick out of the fact that he has some fame and notoriety, doesn't he?
Oh, he is definitely loving that he is Dante's first serial killer. He is relishing that moment, absolutely.
He's all over the news. He's all anybody's really talking about. So Herman kicks Captain Mangett to the floor, and we learn that he's looking for access codes to the slab. Now, Jason, earlier in this season, he was sort of taking a tour of the slab, trying to get an idea of what it's about. Can you give us any hint as far as what is he trying to? Does he want to go back to Earth? Is that his thing?
Yeah, he sort of makes a joke about it, I think, with Captain Mangett in that exchange, that he's homesick. So he is, his focal point for even way back in the season has been just learning more about the slab and how it works, because he has, for whatever reason, we don't know yet, he wants to get back there.
Oh, I've got a few ideas.
Yeah. There's some unfinished business there.
Obviously, I haven't read season 2 yet. But I just have this feeling that that Herman is loving this no consequence evil shenanigans, and I know if I was in that place and I got a taste of, wait, I can go and be in someone else's body and do shenanigans and evilness, and then pop back out. I think he's trying to do some James Bond level evilness. That's where Herman's going. But I don't know anything that you guys don't know. Yes, my money's on evilness.
Well, fortunately, Captain Mangat has a guardian angel looking out for her, and she finds a clever way to keep Herman's attention while her guardian angel comes to her rescue.
The codes. Give them to me.
Okay. Mind if we make it interesting? I'm going to tell you a joke. See if you can figure out the punchline. If you can, then you'll have your codes.
I like jokes when they're funny.
Oh, this one is hilarious. You like knock-knock jokes?
My favorite type.
Perfect. Ready?
Ready.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Gorm.
Gorm who?
Me. Gorm. Knock. Knock.
Gorm! The shotgun! Whoa.
Time for a nap, big fella.
That part gets me. I can picture Herman as a tall guy, but not really a big guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I look back at Gorm, who took down this big, giant, pale horse that was bigger than a Humvee, and Herman put him to sleep.
Psycho strength.
Well, yeah, I did. That was one of the scenes, right? Or the intention of the scene. One of them is to show that like Herman is not just he's got some physical strength. He's a physical threat, not just a mental sort of get in your head psychological thriller type of threat. So I wanted to show that he can handle himself in this graphic. Yeah,
he can. He winds up leaving some blood behind on the walls.
Maybe not by choice.
But he also leaves behind the demon blade, which is good also. Well, we're soon introduced to an area of hell that's called the Cleft. And this turns out to be the new headquarters of the 11th Circle. And we find the man in the orange tie working on a unique experiment.
Is the subject ready?
Yes, sir. The HCC is fully integrated and the neural junction is linked.
Excellent. Prep the volunteer.
Well, I must admit, this all looks official.
We are on track. In fact, the volunteer should be arriving at the gateway at any moment.
Now, suppose you are successful with this demonstration. What is your expectation that will support the predicted outcome?
Ah, yes. Excellent question, Your Grace. The original HCC was intended to immediately sever the connection between Hellborn and the possessed. Of course, in this scenario, the chip was surgically implanted in the Hellborn demon, as per the requirements of the mandate. Now, we're implanting them directly in the intended subject.
So, the man in the orange tie and Lilith discuss these new modified HCCs, and rather than implanting them in demons, they're going to go ahead and plant them right into folks on Earth. Is that right, Jason?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Just to make it an easier access to the subject. Yeah, exactly.
But as they're talking, they don't realize that their demonstration isn't going quite as planned.
A red light blinks next to a phone mounted to the mainframe. The man in the orange tie picks up and answers.
Yes?
Are you seeing this?
Send in the hazmat team.
Responders are at the gateway.
Open the gate.
Two members of the 11th Circle wearing vintage hazmat suits with respirators enter the mortuary and approach the open drawer. Before reaching the drawer, a black, slimy fluid pours out of it, spilling out into the floor in a dark, glistening puddle.
Sir, there doesn't appear to be anything left of the volunteer. Preparing for sterilization.
The flattened black puddle spurts upwards, forming into a solid.
Are those arms?
And legs. Lock the gate.
The substance mutates again. Liquid hands form and then solidify, finishing with long, slender fingers and lengthy talons. What was once a viscous fluid has transformed into a hulking humanoid dark creature. The organism lunges at the two men in hazmat suits and tears them apart.
Initiate Protocol 15!
The ceiling in the mortuary opens. The substance swings its head upwards as it is pummeled with a deluge of chemical liquids. It shrieks and growls until a chemical reaction freezes the substance solid.
It's, frozen.
Our best chance to destroy it.
No. No! Evacuate everyone!
Sir?
You too! Get everyone out of here!
What are you going to do?
We've just created a new species. I'm going to say hello.
So, if I listened to it correctly, and I'm pretty sure I did, the guy that volunteered himself to be part of the experiment, he is now sludge that turns into this giant creature. Is that right?
Yeah. He made it successfully to Earth in the experimentation. He took over the body of Agnes Stab. Successful possession, but on the return, things didn't go so well. And instead of coming back whole, he turned into this black sludge.
R.I.P. Hazmat guy, barely had a chance to know you. Whoever that guy was.
Whoever he was. Did a great job.
Hey, Jason, would you catch us up on the cleft? What exactly is this, like in Dante? Is it not in Dante? What is the cleft?
Yeah, the cleft is it's not in Dante. It's in hell. It's in a region of hell far away from Dante. Basically, it's the updated headquarters that the 11th Circle is using instead of the Malebranche, the cave, where there were, the lack of technology. There was some, basically whatever that big, if you remember in the cave, there's this giant creature encased in glass. We don't really know what it is. It's still imprisoned there, but it was becoming unstable. So the idea was we need to go to a better place with better equipment, where we can really be successful with all these plans and experience we have, and that's where the cleft came in. It's like a brand new facility, essentially.
So there's a creature at the Malebranche behind glass, and now there's a creature frozen in ice in their new place. Okay. It's hell. A lot of creatures. Well, that there ended the first part of this two-part series. And when part 2 picks up, we're back on Earth following Jacob Marwood, who was once Father Marwood, and his new friend Trevor, and they're going to a grounds of an abandoned monastery.
Sir, I brought the recruit you were asking about.
Mr. Marwood, we've been looking for you for quite some time.
That's a new experience for me, to be so highly sought after.
Jacob Marwood, he who sent the first picture, the first sighting of the man in the briefcase. Before that picture, I'd been seeking some purpose, and a reason to go on. A chance to answer all the questions I'd had after my encounter.
Encounter?
He's had first-hand experience with the men in the briefcase.
Sir, you've actually met him?
More or less. That's what gave me this ghoulish appearance and left me crippled. I lost everything afterwards. My wife, my children, my home. We tried to rebuild, move on, but these men with the briefcases, they leave nothing but destruction in their wake. That's what all of this is for. You hadn't heard about it? The demon possession in South Florida, wherein I was the possessed. The demon later exorcised by these mysterious men with briefcases.
No, sir.
Yeah, we can just dispense with the formalities. Everyone here just calls me Phil. Philip Weston.
Now, was it just me, or was this a clutch my pearls moment for anyone else?
It's a bit of a throwback. If you were paying attention.
Yeah, people had to be like, okay, who's this guy again? You know, go back a few episodes.
So. Exactly. Yeah.
Because originally you thought Mr. Weston was going to be eternally grateful for being saved, but he was horrifically disfigured in the battle, and it's interesting to see how he took that experience of being saved in extraordinary circumstances, and it's twisted him into something else. He didn't go to the light. He's over here hanging out with Darth Vader.
Yeah, I wanted a way to sort of circle back to, well, as we've mentioned in a few episodes now, there's like your Hellbound episodes and your Earthbound parts of the story. So definitely Philip and Jacob Marwood and some of the stuff that's happening on Earth are part of your Earthbound storyline. And so I was trying to think of a way to tie it into something that Leo had maybe experienced on Earth, in the earlier episodes, and then that just made me think, well, what if Philip is running this whole thing? And he didn't like the way things went down. He lost everything. It didn't turn out that, his life was great after, he was successfully exorcised. So that was kind of where the idea came from.
I like the fact that you had it set up so, like Andy, you were saying, things weren't rosy and he wasn't grateful. I mean, there was a lot of aftermath that was not good.
Yeah.
He lost his family. He lost pretty much everything.
It reminds me a lot of the soldier that comes home and doesn't get the support and then doesn't know how to integrate again. And he's carrying this trauma that he doesn't know how to process, and that causes it to lose everything, starts acting out. And I think that's what we're seeing, because Philip wasn't a bad guy. Bad shit happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think it's a great look at what happens after the ORA agents leave. Like, I would almost love to see what's happened to some of the other victims, like Hugh Banks or what was the God? I can't think of the name of the other one I'm thinking of. But we've had a couple possessions that they've dealt with, and I'd love to see what the aftermath is for. We know what happened to Laurie Stryker, for example, but some of the other characters that have been possessed and what happened to them after the ORA left.
I think that's a brilliant storyline that we could, even some fan fiction could be written about that one if anyone's interested.
There you go, listeners, get on that one.
I'm sure people want to know what happened to the cat from episode.
Oh, poor Ollie.
So, like, the little boy, he got punched. What happened to the cat?
That's so funny. That little boy getting punched comes up quite a bit in the series.
You just play that to your kids when you're misbehaving, Jason?
This could happen to you. I'll call Leo. I know his phone number.
Well, back in Dante, Leo's giving Jillian a tour of the grounds because now she found her purpose. Her purpose now is with the ORA and the sheriff's department. And he's explaining to her what's expected for the evening's festivities when Max contacts Leo and gives him some news.
Nice car. What do you call it? The Brawnmobile?
Brawnmobile. That's cute.
Sheriff Brawn.
Go for Sheriff Brawn. What do you have, Sergeant?
There's been a development. Miss Mangat was attacked earlier this morning.
What? What happened? Is she okay?
She's fine. Barely shaken. Tough as they come, she is.
What happened?
The Dante Devil, Herman Edward Coxlin, made a house call.
What? I'm on my way.
Sheriff, you're needed there tonight. I've got this. Plus, she had help.
Help? What do you mean?
The demon tracker, Gorm. He intercepted the killer.
Max, is Herman...
No, unfortunately. He managed to temporarily subdue the wrestler and escape. But not before taking buckshot to the leg.
Why the hell did he pick her?
Still working on that. I'm going to get the formal statement soon enough, but Sheriff, we have the weapon.
Holy shit. Does it match the dagger you saw the night of the first murder?
There are similarities.
Alright, you sure the cap is okay?
Yes, barely a scratch on her.
All right, Sergeant, good work. Keep in touch.
Affirmative.
I see this as a difficult spot for Leo because he cares about Captain Manga, but he also has these responsibilities where he's got to stay behind. Brawnmobile, is that going to be an ongoing thing within the story?
It is. It was better than having to say like Pontiac Trans Am Hellcat. So it's just Brawnmobile.
Well, we appreciate the abbreviation, Jason.
I know you
I'm sure you do.
Right. It won't vibrate, Andy. I promise.
Well, as Leo's walking Jillian around, both of them notice an Overwatch tower. And even though it's not specifically stated, we can assume that this is where the marksman is, yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think I think
she
she did observe that. She was like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who's going to be up there. And then Leo confirmed, is like, no, it doesn't. So yeah,
Right. It is. Yeah, it's like not under your orders now that you're sheriff. This came from Satan himself. Like, I want that guy up on that tower watching over the festivities. So
what I like is
the question is why.
Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
We'll find that out in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
What I was going to say is I like the contrast as well of the marksman that's up in the tower is played by the same gentleman that plays the very mild-mannered Father Marwood, and hearing the lack of confidence and almost timid curiosity of no longer Father Marwood, to this creepy guy up ready to take people out. It's a fun thing to listen to.
Yeah.
I like listening to it and trying to figure out, who's playing who and who's doubling up. And I think, Eric, do you hold the record for the most personalities in the show?
Maybe in a single episode. For example, this one where I'm 4 different people. 5 if you count the hazmat guy.
But you'd never know. That's what's amazing. And I love listening to it with like family members or whatever. And they never catch on. And these are people who have listened to every episode, but they never catch on. I love it.
Yeah, I think Jim might actually hold the record overall.
Probably so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He has doubled up and had to have an argument with himself.
A few times now.
But I think he does that in real life as well.
Knowing Jim? Yeah, probably. Love you, Jim.
Well, meanwhile, we find the weirdo Howard. He's getting home in a taxi cab because that poor AMC gremlin got totaled. And if you recall, the last time we heard from him, he was being punched in the face by the marksman and knocked out cold.
Mr. Dump, I've been trying to reach you.
I'm sorry, Susie Bell. I was indisposed. Have you seen my spare house keys?
Oh my word, Mr. Dump, your face. What on earth happened?
I was in a car accident. But I'd appreciate you not listing all of the facial disfigurements I now possess and instead tell me where my goddamn keys are.
They're in your pants. Your other pair of pants. You can find them in the lost and found.
And why would my other pair of pants be in the lost and found, Susie Bell?
Your pants got mixed in with another guest's laundry, and they turned in your pants. I took them to lost and found and then noticed your house keys in the pocket.
If you knew they were my keys, then why didn't you retrieve them and put them in the drawer here where I normally keep them?
Well, you're the innkeeper, so I wanted you to hear the whole story.
And a riveting story it is, Susie Bell.
Susie Bell's not the brightest crayon in the box.
No.
Actually, I was going to say, I picture her as like a hot little dingbat who may actually be smarter than she appears.
Maybe. But...
Delivery of that line where she says, oh, your face. I was like, oh, that would just cut me.
Yeah. I love that he's just been through this ordeal. It's just one of those moments you've had a rough day. You just want to go to bed and somebody just can't help but comment on all the problems with your face. Oh, and your teeth. I hope you find them. I just like the idea of this scene because there's so much at stake. Like, we're building to this crescendo towards the end, and then there's this scene where they're just talking about like laundry and pants and keys and like all this mundane stuff. So I thought it was funny. And Emily, who plays Laurie Stryker, did Susie Bell, and she was just so good.
Speaking of not recognizing who's playing who, I did not know that until I heard the credits afterward.
Yeah,
I was wondering
job.
myself. Yeah.
And Robert, as nice of a guy as he is, he's really really made something with this weirdo Howard character. He's probably, obviously Herman is the creep factor, the top creep factor, but Howard is a few.
Howard gets up there. He gives Herman a run for his money.
Yes, he does.
Now, did I hear correctly? Is his name Howard Dump?
Yes, you heard that correctly. It made me laugh. It was just like, he's this weird dude, and it just give him the worst last name. I just thought that was funny.
Well,
Nothing
Howard
clever about it.
What's that?
Nothing clever about it. Just
Now, when she was mentioning and she said Mr. Dump, I just thought, wow, that sort of fits. So, well, Howard seems to get pretty anxious when Susie Bell mentions that there are rats in the basement.
Okay, Susie Bell, I need to lay down.
Yes, get some rest. Maybe put some ice on that shiner. Oh, and I think the rats are back. I heard something scurrying around in the basement.
Rats? In the basement? Thanks, Susie Bell.
Howard unlocks the front door to the small house he lives in behind the Lantern of Light Inn and stands in the entrance hall.
Hello?
Minutes later, Howard walks towards the basement door while carrying a food tray with a sandwich and a soda. He fishes his keys from his pocket and unlocks the basement door. He opens the door and flips a light switch which illuminates the stairs that descend to the bottom of the basement.
Hello? I can understand that you may be angry with me. Trust me, I had no intention of skipping a meal, and I'm sure you're famished, but you'll never guess who kept me.
Howard observes the floor of the basement with trepidation. There is a stained thin mattress and quilt on the floor. Laying across the mattress is a chain connected to the wall and unlocked handcuffs.
Shit. No, how can this be?
Howard kneels before the mattress and examines the handcuffs. A paper clip sticks out of the lock. A figure, bathed in shadow, sneaks up behind Howard and bashes him in the head.
Howard's not having a great 24 past hours, is he?
Certainly isn't.
He's had to deal with Jillian. He's had to deal with the killer twins. He had his ass handed to him by the marksman. And then when he gets home where he should feel safe, someone bashes him in the head.
Poor guy.
Jason's like, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, he kind of had it coming.
Exactly.
Was he beaten up by the marksman, or was he beaten up by the guy who plays the marksman? Because,
I'm sorry, what?
Isn't it Gorham that beat up?
No.
He gets beaten up by the marksman. Yeah.
The marksman at the nightclub punches him in the face, knocks him down.
You're right. Gorham is the one that beats up Herman.
Right.
Yeah.
Herman, yeah.
Sorry to bring that up, Eric.
I get the better of him.
Well, we finally get to the start of the new dawn, which is Satan's campaign, and we meet up with the Dante celebrity, Billy Bocheefe.
Oh, well, thank you, my lovelies. It's just me, little old Billy. I feel it. I feel that love, and that's what this is really all about, isn't it? Sweet, hot, and sweaty, crying to your pea love. You know, when I was a little boy growing up in Nutbush, Tennessee, never in my wildest dreams did I think that one day I'd grow up, have a massive widowmaker heart attack, die a painful and torturous death, and wind up as one of the very first people that gets to meet each and every one of you. You're all that scared little newborn entering a strange, frightening world, and I'm that doctor that smacks your tiny little fanny when you pop out of the womb. So precious. That's love, people.
That's love, people. I don't know what it is, but I love that character. Eric,
he's so fun. He really
Yeah.
is. You know, because he's just all about feel good, and he's just, you know,
yeah.
You get into that zone. You can't help but smile when you hear Billy, and I mean, getting to play him, I'm laughing and giggling when I'm recording my lines. It's so funny.
It's funny you say that because you can actually hear the smile on your in the words that you're giving off. So yeah, it works out great.
Yeah, he's just an infectious personality.
Well, as Billy Bocheefe is addressing the crowd, we're brought to the overlook where the pig and the marksman are. And with Satan about to get on stage, there's no telling who's going to try to do him in. So the pig is making sure that the marksman's on his game. After all, if something were to happen to Satan, John Tulliver never gets his original appearance back.
I'm about to make my rounds. Need you to wear one of these so we can stay in communication.
What's this contraption?
It's an earpiece. You familiar with the radio? It's how we're gonna talk to each other. Just put it in your ear.
The marksman slips the earpiece into his ear.
Are you reading this? Big Man is gonna be out in the open tonight. If something goes down, I hope you won't miss.
I don't miss.
Jason, is this more about John living up to his word, or does he genuinely care about Satan?
It's more about getting through this as easily as possible so he can fulfill his obligation and return back to being John Tulliver again instead of the pig, really. More so than any feelings for Satan at this point.
Yeah, that's definitely how I saw it was, you know, he just wants this to get done. He wants it over with so he can go back to his life.
Yeah, there was a part where the man in the ugly orange tie is trying to antagonize John and saying that you played your part well. And John, or the pig, gets very offended. Like, I wasn't part of this scheme. I was just doing what I had to do. So yeah, it not the greatest guy, but definitely seems like his hand has been forced. Like he doesn't have a choice to do it.
Yep. No, exactly.
Well, as John's making his rounds and he's going through the crowd, he spots two individuals who could be members of the 11th Circle, and he reaches out to Leo over the Weevils.
Sheriff Brawn?
Go for Sheriff.
I may have spotted possible 11th Circle members in the crowd. Our friend in the nest has eyes on them.
Okay, and how do you know they may be affiliated with the 11th Circle?
Let's just say their faces leave little to the imagination.
Any reason to think they're unfriendly?
Hard to say, but we'll keep watching.
Okay, thanks, John. Keep me posted.
Roger that. Wait. One of them is breaking off from the group. I'm on them.
Well, unfortunately, Jillian hears this and takes off to find the pig, believing that he's the answer to finding Sebastien, but Leo can't stop her because Satan steps out on stage and he needs to maintain his post.
John drops off radio. Leo peers into the crowd but can't see the two members in question. He turns to Jillian, who has removed her weevil.
Jillian, put your weevil back on.
The pig. He's here.
Jillian, stay at your post.
Leo, he was the last person to see Sebastien. I have to do this.
Now, there was a time where Captain Manga ordered Leo to do something and he didn't do it. And now he's telling Jillian, put her weevil back in and stay at your post, and she didn't do it. Is there a problem with people following orders in hell?
Maybe. I mean, it can't get much worse for them, right? So what harm really be? But also, I think she's just. This has really been her mission since arriving, is she's fallen in love with Sebastien. He's been missing, and any opportunity she can get to figuring out what happened to him and where he is, she'll take it, even if it means not following Leo's order.
Yeah, there's
Well,
definitely some different agendas at play, I think, in that scene. Like, she's like, to hell with orders. This is, yeah.
It talks to you're right, Grace. It talks to the strength of her character. That even though she is there to follow orders, no, this is more important. I gotta go.
Well, she's been strong on trying to find Sebastien from the moment he didn't turn up. So she's almost obsessed with it.
Yeah, this is her first big lead into finding Sebastien in God knows how long.
Yeah.
The last time she ran into the pig, it was at the administration building when she was running to the cab. So it's been a while. So this is like, I got him. This is it.
This is it. This is who knows. This is who's going to know. And she sort of alludes to it too, like when she's talking to Felix earlier, that she feels alone. She doesn't really trust anybody, and Sebastien is really the only person that she has been able to open up to at all. And now he's gone. So another reason she's trying to find him.
Well, as we move forward, we're going to listen to Satan. He's going to give his speech, and he talks about his history and being cast in the lake of fire. Then he goes on to talk about walking among humans on earth, and then how he returns to hell. And it's at this point that he makes a very poignant statement.
Coming back home, I didn't like what I saw. All the fire, darkness, torture, debauchery, sadness, fear, and hatred. Fighting our heavenly adversaries by influencing their very creation. Man. And yet, gaining nothing. Prior to the transformation, I walked amongst you, all the eternally damned, the sinners, and I just thought, what was the point to it all? I'd look around, more sinners arriving every single day, every hour. And then I had a revelation. If it was known the consequence to a life of sin meant suffering and damnation for all eternity, then certainly it had ceased to be a deterrent. In the time that more and more people have no faith and don't believe in a higher power, they too, in turn, have little belief in me. The fear of violating the cardinal rules set before each of you had been replaced, and therefore powerless.
My takeaway from this is he was on Earth. He saw the humans on Earth, and he also noticed that humans were more involved with their own lives. They no longer looked to religion or God, which meant that they didn't believe in God, which also meant that they wouldn't believe in him either. So they have no fear in hell. Is that something that you wrote just for the story, or would you say it's something that you've observed in real life?
I think there is some element of that in real life. I mean, I never want Leo Brawn to be a commentary on religion or anything like that. I do try and shy away from that because I know, more than anything, I want it to be entertaining and I want it to be scary. But I do feel there is some of that in the world, and so I just thought it was an interesting idea that if you have those that lack faith, then that would also mean they're not too worried about where they end up at the end of their life, and therefore what kind of power does Satan or living in damnation really hold? And that's what he observed.
There's a book by Neil, I believe it's Neil Gaiman wrote, Small Gods, and in that book, gods become less powerful.
American Gods.
American Gods, thank you.
Great book.
They get less powerful as they lose believers and people that worship them. So in a way, the way we were discussing Satan here, if he's saying, I don't have any respect. Nobody cares that I'm even here. I'm the big bad and no one's scared of me, worshiping me, or fearful of me.
I think
I got to step up my game.
It's an ego thing with him too. Like, what do you mean you don't believe in me?
So it's the perception of loss of power that's it's getting to him. You're right. His ego is hurting him more than anything.
I mean, I have to say that there was, and to me, there was an element of truth in that speech. Mm-hmm. That if people no longer fear the repercussions of damnation, what's his purpose?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's something that he's recognizing, and so he's like, okay, well, and this doesn't give anything away, but it's we still don't know what the impetus was for this transformation, or why, the ultimate why. We don't know if it's self-preservation or what it is, but it appears that he's at least trying to figure out a different way. Well, if I can't get that, at least I can almost sort of mimic maybe what's above, right? Like give another place for some area to redeem yourself or something like that.
I mean, I have a personal theory on that, and I was, don't say yes or no if I'm right or wrong. But for me, the whole thing is just a way for Satan to feel relevant and remain relevant.
Mm-hmm. Without giving too much, I mean, there is definitely an element of that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to have Satan asking for people to like and subscribe?
Well, I mean, there is that is sort of why well, no, never mind. I can't say, but that'll be a season 2 thing. But anyway, I'll shut up now. I was about to spoil something again.
So is there going to be social media in hell?
Hellbook?
Yeah.
I think that's why
we're getting smartphones.
It's only a matter of time, and I can't wait to comment on social media, which is
Hellbooks,
why
Hex,
it's being added.
Red Sky.
That's pretty good.
So
I'm giving you ideas for Hellborn social media.
Yeah.
So Jillian's following the pig, who's following an 11th Circle disciple into a bookstore. And Jillian catches up with him, John the pig, and she's determined for him to give up Sebastien.
You've been a hard man to find. Maybe it's because you're not really a man at all.
The member of the 11th Circle is spooked and darts out of the hallway into the night.
Wait! Damn it!
Let's not pretend you don't know why I'm here.
Ms. Burkett, is it?
Yes. And you're the one they call the pig.
Not anymore.
You're going to tell me where Sebastien is. Because I know you know where he is.
I can't do that.
The next step you take better be leading me to Sebastian's location, or you won't be walking out of here at all.
Miss Burkett, I'm not going to fight you.
Oh, I have a feeling once I'm done, you'll change your mind. In fact, I'm sure of it.
I'm sure of it, too. This connection that Jillian has with Sebastien, does this have anything to do with her experience about being betrayed by one of her own?
Well, in the sense that she's been able to... You mean in the sense that she's been able to confide in Sebastien that this happened? Because we hear about that when she does her own narration.
Right.
So in that sense, I mean, really, it all comes back to she was kind of very protective of herself, and she still doesn't really believe everything that she's seeing here. And Sebastien was the only person that she's really trusted or opened up to and been vulnerable with.
Girl gonna get her man back.
Yeah.
Well, Leo's making his speech, and as he's talking, Willie's voice comes into Leo's ear through the weevil.
Leo, I know you're in the middle of your speech and Dante is watching, so just keep reading, but a signal pinged with dispatch is not a signature with the same properties as a demonic possession, but an active one all the same, and we've pinpointed its location. Leo, the demon Astaroth, the demon you fought in Las Vegas, he's here at the rally. He's somewhere, watching. Lori, you got something?
Leo, we know this demon well, but I had dispatch pull more history on him. In some grimoires, Astaroth is depicted as benevolent, even striving to help in some cases. He may appear as man or woman, but he is almost always painted as a deceiver, so be prepared for anything. Willie and I are heading to the rally now.
I think that would annoy me, trying to talk to someone and if there's a voice going on in my head. That would just drive me nuts.
Yeah, and you're having to play it off
So-
when nothing's happening.
Yeah. So this signal that they located, is this signal Astaroth showing up, or is a signal actually this experiment conducted by the man in the orange tie?
It's actually that Astaroth is showing up. So, and Ronan sort of mentions it, and like when the signals first appear back at dispatch, before they're sort of prioritized as to, okay, this is the possession you need to tackle first. The signal, whatever that is, whatever they're picking up on, becomes present within the interface of the system that they monitor, right? So the idea was that as soon as Astaroth starts doing his thing, there's a little blip that can be seen, and so then they pinpoint, oh, this is happening right in front of Leo.
Okay. Well, you say right in front of Leo. This is where things sort of get into total chaos. This blonde woman shows up, who I'm guessing isn't really a blonde woman. She appears and tells Leo to open that letter that he's been holding on to for a while. Sebastien shows up, and he starts screaming Leo's name from across the crowd. And Jillian hears Sebastien, and she runs off to find him. And then the weirdo Howard then shows up. And John tells the marksman, hey, take the shot at Sebastien. And all this is happening simultaneously, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really is chaos, and you're trying, I think there's even some scenes where you have some of the characters trying to keep them calm, and I think Satan ends up having to step. I don't know if we have a clip of that, but he's going to kind of try and keep everybody calm, and he kind of spins it so that it's like, hey, look, the sheriff, he's already doing things, he's already chasing down this who's ever causing this chaos. So yeah, a lot's happening all at once now.
Speaking of which,
he's open.
Fire!
God damn it.
What now?
It's Miss Burkett and the sheriff. They're with the onboarding specialist now. I don't have a clear line of sight.
Look, I understand you feel some kind of way about the CIA agent, but this is the time. Just take the shot.
No, only Sebastien is marked for death.
Fire your weapon, assassin!
No, I will not gun them all down on your order. Only the onboarding specialist has a price on his head.
Oh, don't you understand? Once this is over, I am no longer obligated to that evil bastard. I won't have to look like a monstrous freak, and my family will be safe. So fuck your hashish and rules!
John removes the earpiece and leaves the empty hallway.
Satan's trying to get everybody in the saloon, and that's when all hell breaks loose, and John's trying to get the marksman to off Sebastien and get rid of him. And you can hear the desperation in John's voice.
Yeah, it's a huge contrast between John and the marksman. The marksman just wants to stick to his code. He's like, I don't care how important this is to you. My code above everything else.
Yeah, you can tell John's in it for himself, and that's it.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's such a testament to Jim's performance, I think, too. As, at the very beginning of this, I mean, the pig is one of the very first characters beyond, other than Leo, that's introduced, and how just he's unraveled the whole season up to this point. So it's really impressive.
Well, since John can't get the marksman to do what he needs him to do, John decides he's going to take matters into his own hands.
Shut up. Don't believe anything he says.
Leo, everything that's been reported on your death has been a lie. Your family.
Everyone, get down!
Shots are fired at the group, but not by the marksman. John Tulliver fires several shots from a snub-nosed revolver. The group disperses. Jillian covers Sebastien with her body. Laurie and Willie dive behind a parked car. The fourth shot hits Leo in the side and he falls down hard, losing his hold on Howard in the process. A fifth shot ricochets off the blacktop. A sixth and final shot shatters the driver's side window of the car where Willie and Laurie sought cover.
Yeah, so he's losing it. I think he really needs his family protected, and this is where he's just going to do whatever he has to do to take care of that.
Yeah, he's
this
acting in
collateral
complete,
damage doesn't matter. He's just going for it.
he's acting in complete desperation. He
Yeah,
I can't see past that.
No.
Well, eventually that desperation, he gets taken down. Willie and Laurie take John into custody. The weirdo, Howard, seems to have escaped. And Jillian is trying to help Leo back to the Brawnmobile. And as he's being helped back to the vehicle, he remembers the message from the blonde woman telling him to read the letter. And just when we think everything is being tied up.
As Leo approached the Brawnmobile, he reaches into his pocket and looks at the letter from his son Harry. From the overwatch, the marksman raises the rifle until Sebastien is in his sights. Laurie looks up to see the weirdo Howard trailing behind Leo and Jillian, the revolver aimed at Sebastien. Leo begins to unfold the letter until he feels someone firmly grab his shoulder. Howard throws Leo to the ground. Leo crashes against the blacktop as he cries out in pain. The open letter floats softly and lands next to him.
You were mine.
Howard aims the revolver at Sebastian's head. Jillian attempts to shove Sebastien out of the path of the gun. Leo is dazed and losing consciousness as he turns his gaze to the unfolded letter which lies on the ground. The marksman chambers around and places his finger on the trigger. Howard cocks the revolver. Leo's vision is frayed at the edges but manages to read the message his son gave him. It reads, "Daddy, we're still alive."
Man.
I almost fell over when I heard that. One of the ironies, though, is as an audience, we knew that they were still alive. And we know that he doesn't know that.
Yes.
But as an audience, the effect was still jarring. Like, the way it was delivered and written. I was just like, well done. Wow.
And then the mysterious gunshot, you're left with, who just got shot?
Who just got shot?
Yeah.
This is from the marksman, so this is going to be fatal. It's not a snub nose like the pigs carrying. This is not going down well for whoever got hit.
And as the narrator, I hated Jason at that moment because I'm like, okay, and then the gunshot, and where's the rest of it?
Yeah. Left me hanging, bro.
Well, that wasn't the only cliffhanger in here, was it?
It was.
No, it's not.
No, because everything that happened, everything got crazy. We heard a gunshot, a woman screams, it goes quiet, and then we're back on Earth.
All right, kiddo. It's time for bed. Oh, honey, do you want to sleep with that teddy bear?
No, that's okay. He can stay over there.
Okay. Night-night, sweetie. See you in the morning. I love you.
Creepy.
Tear.
Daddy? Is that you?
Yeah, that one got me more so than the gunshot, because it sounded almost like someone was trying to reply to him through the teddy bear.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was.
That's not Leo.
No.
That made me think of like those old, was it the Poltergeist movies where the little girl's sitting in front of the television?
They're here.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was definitely inspired by that kind of thing, and just the whole idea of like this little kid's just sleeping, and all of a sudden, night vision, and you see his room, and somebody's spying. Ugh, it's terrible. Fun to write. Terrible.
Creepy as hell. Yeah.
And that ends season 1 right there. And we gotta wait another 6, 7, 8 months to find out what's going on.
July. We're targeting sometime June, July, I think is the.
This summer.
Yeah.
This summer blockbuster coming your way.
Don't worry, listeners. We're already hard at work.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to start here with Eric. With this being the end of the season, to look back, if you had to summarize the whole season, not the whole season, but if you had to summarize Leo Brawn and your experience with Leo Brawn, how would you go about doing that?
This whole season has been, for me, just an incredible journey, just getting to become these characters. I mean, I, throughout the course of the season, witnessed Herman evolve. One of the big things that happened in this episode, we didn't really talk about it too much, was when Herman drops the act. And we realized that when he was talking like this and being all meek and mild, it really wasn't him. And I think that was a huge reveal, and I cannot wait to see where his character goes. I was happy to bring Sebastien back. We hadn't seen him in many episodes. So we're going to see a lot more of him, in season 2. There's a big storyline coming up with him, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, and getting to know all of you, getting to know this crew, I feel like we've all become a family over the course of this season, the way we just connect, across various media or at events, hanging out. I was at Grace's wedding. So, the way we've just all come together has just been a great experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Grace, same thing. You look back on your experience with Leo Brawn. How was that for you?
It is a wild, wild ride. And blink and you'll miss some stuff. I have to thank Terry Briscoe for convincing me to take the role of Lilith. It took some arm twisting, actually. The premise was something that kind of freaked me out, and I was like, well, exposure therapy. Why not? Best decision ever. I can't imagine not playing her. Glad she is in my life and all the characters. As an audience, as well as an actress in the show, I myself get to know the characters along with everyone else as they're developed, and I have my favorites and my, I'm like, that person, I could not be friends. As far as the characters go. Oh God.
I love everyone.
So, yeah. Oh, stop, please. But yeah, no, it's been a blast, and wouldn't have changed a thing.
Nice. Andy, you've been here for a while. What was it like for you to see season 1 come to an end?
Oh, wow. Well, it was an exciting project to get involved in because it just hit all the buttons for me. The horror, the mystery, the crime, the detective. And when Jason and I connected, we started kind of riffing on the influences of movies and TV shows that we'd grown up watching and how it had influenced our taste. And we had a lot of favorites in common. And so I enjoy reading the script and being, I know what influenced that, Jason. Yes, me too. And it's been fun because Jason has the habit of trying to loop everything back to kind of close a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still some things that haven't circled back yet. So we've seen the characters develop, and we've got this, not just great actors, but a great group of characters, some really strong personalities. And you're getting the feeling that, okay, they've bonded as a team. They're about to get completely screwed over. And I'm looking forward to seeing that circle arc of story coming back around. So I'm excited for season 2, and it's coming this summer.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Jason, for you, this has got to be something. I mean, this was like a dream in your head for years, and then finally you get to, not just to put it on paper, but to hear it come alive.
I mean, it's been the greatest thing, other than having falling in love and having my children. It's been like the greatest thing that's ever happened. I mean, it was written in 2009, and then literally I just shelved it until 2024, and got some words of encouragement from my wife to say, just do this and bring people in. Don't try and do it all yourself like you've always done, and it never goes anywhere. And so meeting Stitch and meeting everyone in the cast, I mean, like Eric shared that sentiment. It's just become this merry band of these family members that I can't wait to actually meet in person one day. But yeah, I mean, when I wrote this, I mean, I never had any validation. This is the very first thing I've ever done that I ever put out there where I felt it was a legitimate thing versus, just silly things I've done with my family and stuff. And so it was huge validation to hear from these people that have been doing this in the industry, like, hey, this is actually well written, or it sounds really well. I mean, I'm doing this all kind of for the first time in a real way. And so that boosted the confidence level, to like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not a hack. You're always dealing with that, right? That
imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, and which I think it just held me back for all these years, just like, yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. So to have this, I do feel like things happen for a reason, and this was just the way that this story was supposed to be unleashed to the world, and I couldn't be happier with the way it's all turned out. And I cannot wait to get season 2 going and for people to hear it. And I'm just thankful to all of you, every single one of you, the ones that are on this right now, and those at home or wherever they are, but all of the cast that have said yes and joined on this journey. I'm so eternally grateful for all of it.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever done something like this. Doing commercials or doing a read for somebody, you do it and then you leave. You don't really have to get involved with that person again. But since I've been involved with Leo Brawn, Eric, you said it perfectly. It's like a little family. I mean, and Jason, when you said a family you haven't met yet, that's how I feel. And it's I can't wait to meet each of you because it feels like I've known you guys forever. And we are part of this family, this Leo Brawn family that Jason, you've built for us. So I appreciate it. And I love the fact that I'm part of this. And I love the fact that all of you are part of it with me. So thank you. And thanks for doing this with us, especially this Devil's Den, so we can kind of go back and look over each episode and help our listeners. Because, when they're listening, they're playing their games and they're filing their nails. They're not really listening. So we get to kind of detail it for them.
Yeah, they need the Cliff Notes review.
Yeah.
It's fun for me as an actor to revisit these parts and listen back to it and like, I missed that detail and I was in it.
Yeah.
Not just about the reads, but one of my favorite moments outside of the studio, I was at a voiceover conference and I had someone that I'd never met actually came to find me to tell me how much they loved the Leo Brawn show.
Oh, that's great.
And that was, it was such a shock to me because I think we were on episode 5 or 6. So we're still building momentum. And I'm just texting Jason like, hey man, guess what? I just had a Brawniac stop me at the conference.
That's pretty good.
We've been at this about a year now. It's been a year since we started with like episode 1 or 2.
Yeah, actually, it has. We started recording in like April and March, and because you put it out in May, right?
Right.
May 1st.
Yeah. Man,
what a long, strange trip it's been.
Yeah. Well, hey, folks, on behalf of Jason and myself, thank you, all of you guys, for taking the time to join us for this special episode of The Devil's Den. We had a great time with you. And to all of our listeners, thank you for being such awesome fans of Leo Brawn and listening to The Devil's Den with me, Jason, and our guests, Eric Carlino, Grace Newton, and Andy Parkin. And don't forget to find us on Facebook for all your Leo Brawn updates, as well as patreon.com, where you can sign up to be an RA member and get exclusive Leo Brawn content. And if you haven't already, search for The Devil's Den on Facebook to get your updates on each episode of The Devil's Den, as well as leave us comments and questions. Now, we here at MTC Studios and Shoestring TV appreciate all your support for The Devil's Den. We loved reviewing this first season of Leo Brawn. Your Facebook posts, your messages have really shown us how much you appreciate this fantastic story. So on behalf of everyone involved with MTC and Shoestring, we thank you. Take care, Brawniacs.
The characters and events depicted in this podcast are fictional. Any similarity to any actual persons, living or dead, or to actual events, firms, places, and institutions, or other entities is coincidental and unintentional. This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Its unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability and criminal prosecution. Country of first publication, the United States of America. Leo Brawn, copyright 2024, Shoestring TV. Leo Brawn and all related characters are trademark and copyright of Shoestring TV. All rights reserved.